Hello, superstar, and welcome to April Assist Me, where I am here to assist you. Today, I am here to bring you part 2 of my trip to Europe. Let me start off by saying that the reason that we flew to London is because we were going to a Chicago Bears game. Now, we knew we wanted to take a big trip this year because we hadn't taken our honeymoon yet. We were going to go to Mexico, and we were going to stay at this resort. We were going with another couple. And then the day after we made the reservations at this Mexican resort, his cousin called him and said, "Hey, the Chicago Bears are going to be playing in London. Do you want to go?" So he asked me what I thought about it. And I was like, "Hells yeah, let's go to London." So that's what we decided to do instead. So we canceled those reservations at the Mexican resort. And we immediately started looking for tickets online, and I found a really good deal on Delta. The plane was operated by Virgin Atlantic, but we still booked the flights through Delta, and we paid I think it was $750 each. So we paid like $1,500 for both of us to fly to London round trip. So the deal was amazing. We got a direct flight from LAX to Heathrow. So it was an amazing deal for us. So after we had this fabulous time in Paris, we took the train back to London. Now, as I said, we traveled with 2 other couples. So it was myself and my husband, his cousin, his wife, their son, and his wife, and then they had a 15-month-old daughter. When we were in Paris, we stayed at different hotels, so we barely saw them. And so we were going to be all staying together at this Airbnb in London. The train ride, we left Paris at like 5 o'clock in the evening. We got to London at 6:30. It was a 2.5-hour train ride, but it was an hour time difference. But we got there at 6:30 p.m. and we took an Uber directly from the St. Pancras train station to the Airbnb. The Airbnb was located in South Tottenham, which was about a 1.5 miles away from the stadium where the football game was going to be. So we got to the apartment. It was more like a townhouse. It was like a duplex kind of situation because it was connected to another townhouse. We got there first, so we gotta have the first pick of the room, but we decided to get the room on the 3rd floor because it was 3 levels. And his cousin has some mobility issues, so we didn't want him to have to walk up all those stairs. So there was a walk up to get to the main level. And the main level, they had a kitchen, it was a living room, the master bedroom, a bathroom, and I think the laundry room was down there too. And then on the 3rd floor, there were 2 more bedrooms and a bathroom. So we got one of the rooms upstairs, and we just kind of hung out and unpacked, waiting for everybody to arrive. They started to arrive as we were unpacking and everything. And when they got there, we were just kind of all hanging out, and we were hungry, so we decided to order some takeout from a Mediterranean place in the area. Actually, there were quite a few Mediterranean restaurants in that area. But we ended up getting food, and then we just hung out and talked about each other's experiences while we were in Paris. And then we talked about what we're going to do while we were in London. After everyone got settled and finished eating dinner, the guys went to the store to get some essentials like water and stuff like that. So when they got back, we all just kind of went to bed. So the next morning when we got up, we wanted to go have breakfast, and my husband found this really cool restaurant called Dough Bar. It wasn't that far from the it was about maybe a 10-minute ride from the from the Airbnb. So it's pretty close. It was rated as like one of the top places to have breakfast in London by Vogue magazine, so it had to be nice, right? So we got there. There was a little bit of a line. We had to wait maybe about 10 or 15 minutes for a table. But luckily we got there when we did, because that line grew after we got there. So we got in, we got our table, and it was packed in there. It was not a really big place, but it was a vibe, it was a little vibe to it. And the food was really amazing. So, yeah, we had a really nice little breakfast there. And then, but it was just my husband and myself and his cousin and his wife that went to breakfast that morning. So after breakfast, we took them back to the Airbnb, and then we wanted to do a little bit of sightseeing. So we figured out how to take the train. The train was really close to where we were, or the tube, they call it. The tube was really close to where we were. Not as close as the train was in Paris, because the train in Paris was right across the street, really, from our hotel. But this one was maybe about a block away. We figured out how to get to Buckingham Palace on the train. And so his cousin's wife, she wanted to get out and do some sightseeing too. He didn't want to hold her back from doing anything because he wasn't able to. So she went with us. We took the train to Buckingham Palace, and it let you off in like this park. It was like this beautiful park. I'm assuming that it's part of the palace, but it was really beautiful. And you went down this long walkway to get there, and these beautiful gates. It was just beautiful. And it started raining. Yes, we got more rain. It wasn't as bad as it was that one day in Paris, but we kind of got like off and on raining. So we did get some rain, and then we took some really cool pictures. We did not get a chance to see the changing of the guards. I think that happened the day before. I think the changing of the guards happens like 2 or 3 times per week at certain times, and you just have to be there to catch it. And we didn't catch it. The day that we went to Buckingham Palace was not one of the days of the changing of the guards. However, we did see a couple of the guards like moving around the grounds. But from what I understand, the changing of the guards is really something spectacular to see. And we didn't get a chance to see that, unfortunately, but we did see some guards. So we took a few pictures in the area. Then we asked someone how to get to Big Ben, because I wanted to see that. And that was really close to the palace. So we kind of made our way and walked around to get to Buckingham. From Buckingham to Big Ben. Now, we didn't get like super close to Big Ben. Like, we didn't go all the way. We just got close enough to take pictures. On the way there, I wanted to get a picture, those red phone booths, those really popular phone booths in London. So they have them all over the place, but they were mostly locked. Like, you couldn't go inside of the phone booths. They were there, and you could take a picture with it, but you couldn't go in to the booth because they were all locked. They had one I saw that was unlocked, but there was this long line of people waiting to take a picture inside, and I was not trying to do that. I was like, I could get a picture on the outside, and it's just fine. And that's what I did. So, like I said, we found Big Ben, we took a couple pictures, and then the London Eye was actually close by as well. So we took a picture of that. And then we went to one of those street vendors, those souvenir shops, and we got some souvenirs. And then we took the train back because it was starting to rain again. So we just took the train back. There was actually quite a few things that I wish I could have experienced while I was in London, because I had been to London before many years ago, and I really didn't do anything that time. But this time I was planning to do more things, and I did, but we only were there. We was really only there for like 2 days, 3 days really. So we really didn't get to do that much. But I wanted to go to Harrods, and I wanted to go have high tea somewhere, and we just did not get a chance to do that. So maybe next time. So later on that night, we wanted to go find somewhere to have dinner. And my husband found this really good barbecue place. Let me tell you, my husband can sniff out a barbecue place, okay? So he found this barbecue place in, I think the neighborhood is called Hoxton, Hoxton, or Houghton. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, the restaurant was called Red Dog Saloon. And they had really good food. I was really surprised, but they had really good barbecue. And so it was me, my husband, and his cousin's wife. And we just had this amazing barbecue dinner. And they had large, really large portions too. So of course we took a doggy bag home. We took extra food for his cousin because he wasn't able to go with us. So we took food for him. But we had just a lot of food left over anyway. After dinner, we just kind of went back to the apartment and got ready for the next day. So Sunday is football day. So we got up that morning, we got dressed, we put on our Bears gear, we were ready. We were going to take the train to the stadium because it was really only one stop away. It was, like I said, 1.5 miles away from the Airbnb, very close. So when we got to where the train is, which is, like I said, about a block away, when we got to the main street, we saw like droves of people walking to the stadium. I mean, like there was a lot of people walking to the stadium, and they had their Bears gear on, and they had their Jaguars gear on. So I was like, let's walk. Plus we wanted to find somewhere to have breakfast or have something to eat. And I was on the hunt for, the whole time I was there, I was on a hunt for a currency exchange, because when I arrived and when I made the plans to go to Europe, I only got euros. I did not get any what do you call them? British pounds. I did not get any British pounds, but I figured I could do that once I got there, but I just never got around to it. And so anyway, so as we're heading to the stadium, I was trying to see if we could find somewhere to eat and if we could find a currency exchange. But it was Sunday, so everything was closed, right? So, I mean, I was really able to just use my credit card everywhere in London, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I still wanted to exchange the money, but I just never got around to it. So it was just amazing to see all these American people, a lot of people from Chicago. But it was just, it was amazing to see all these people. Even when we were walking around the day before doing the sightseeing, we saw a lot of people in Chicago Bears gear, and they always acknowledged each other. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, we finally get to the stadium. Then like the closer we were getting to the stadium, we started seeing like hot dog vendors and stuff like that. So it was like, we'll just get something to eat when we get to the stadium. So we did. We got like hot dogs and popcorn, stadium food, beer. It was cool. The hot dogs were a little bit different than what I was used to, but they were still really good. We got the hot dogs, we got popcorn, we got beer, and we found our seats. We had really good seats. My husband had gotten the tickets maybe like a month before we left. I'm not sure where his cousin, we didn't get our tickets at the same time, so we didn't sit with them. I don't know where they were, but we had really good seats. So the game was amazing. The Bears won. Yay! It was an amazing, like the energy at these games are just amazing. There's just really good energy. So we had a really good time. And then after the game, we headed back to the Airbnb. Somehow we took a wrong turn on the way back because we walked back. We were like, it was such a nice walk here. We might as well walk back. Like I said, we took a wrong turn somewhere. I don't know how we did that, but we did. And we got lost. But we found our way thanks to Google Maps. We found our way. So it took a little bit longer to get back, but it was a nice walk because we walked through some really cool neighborhoods on the way back. And we still got back before them. I don't know how that happened, but we still made it back to the Airbnb before they did. We got there and we just kind of hung out. We actually heated up the leftovers from the night before from Red Dog and just chilled. And then once his cousins got there, the guys watched American football on TV because it was actually earlier in the day for America, so all the football games were happening at that time. So they watched the football, and then they had to take an early flight, so we all just went to bed early. We had to check out the next day. We had to be out of there by a certain time on that Monday. So we got up. They were already gone when we got up because they had, like I said, that they had a flight. Let me just say this. They had to take a train back to Paris to catch the flight there. Crazy. So they had a lot of traveling to do that day. So they had to get up really early. I think they had to get up at like 3 a.m. to take the train, to go back to Paris, to catch their flight back to Chicago, where we were already in London. So we had a little bit of time, but if I would have known what I know now, because once I returned, I learned that there are places that you could store your luggage. Like if you have to check out of your hotel or Airbnb or whatever, there are certain places that will store your luggage. So if your flight is later on and you want to do some more sightseeing, you can pay to store your luggage at like these lockers or whatever. I did not know that when I was there, or I would have done that because we had quite a bit of time after checking out of the Airbnb before our flight was departing that evening. So we didn't know what to do. We couldn't leave the luggage in the Airbnb, of course, because we had to be out of there. It wasn't like at a hotel, because some hotels let you store your luggage there. But this was different because it was an Airbnb. But anyway, we went to the airport and had breakfast at this restaurant. And that was it. It was a quick trip in London, but it was memorable. It was fun. It was exciting. I was able to kind of get to do some things that I didn't do the first time I went to London. So I'm grateful for that. And I also know, next time I go to London, the things that I would do again and the things that I would like to find out more about. So overall, it was an amazing trip, an amazing memory, and I'm grateful that I did it. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch my vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time.